we are going to create a new Loopback setup that will be great for using while teaching online, getting all the audio from your computer to go into the class with your microphone as well. However, you will be very careful not to be monitoring your own microphone, but all other audio instead. So let's get started. We'll add a new virtual device down here. Probably a good idea to rename it. Now you've got a specific new device. The next thing you want to do is add more output channels. This is going to allow us to keep the microphone from being a problem later. So it's important that you make those extra output channels available. Now we're going to add a source. We go over to this column, and here we can choose a variety of things. Let's just get our microphone going, and we'll choose external microphone. If you have an interface with a microphone attached to it that has a better sound, you might want to choose that instead. But for our purposes, we're going to keep this pretty simple. We're going to choose an external microphone, which is part of an Apple earbud setup. Now, you'll notice that these signals were routed directly to channels 1 and 2. We absolutely must break these connections. So we highlight the wire, and then we press Command Delete. Same thing with this one, Command Delete. Now I have got no audio passing through. Now I'm going to drag a new connection to channel 3 and channel 4. This is going to isolate the microphone. The next thing we're going to do, if you want to add another source, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and add my interface that has a microphone in it as well. And same deal. Once again, be sure you break these connections before we move on to the next part and route them to outputs 3 and 4. Actually, this is a mono setup, so I'll go into both 3 and 4 here. Now I'm going to turn that input off, and we're just going to stick with our external microphone. But you can see none of the microphones are attached to output channels 1 and 2. That is incredibly important. Next step, we're going to add monitors. So we go to the plus sign here, and we're going to route this signal out so we can hear what the computer is doing, but not our microphone because we can hear ourselves. Once again, out of convenience, we'll use external headphones, which is just part of an Apple headset that's got a microphone in it. You can see how that connection from 1 and 2 was automatic. That's why you never want to have this microphone sources going through channels 1 and 2. It'll cause feedback that will be quite disturbing. So let's avoid that. If you do want to add some extra monitors, let's say you have an interface. I've got a big knob studio thing that's connected to my studio monitors. I can add those in. Once again, I can switch those off if I don't really need them. Okay, next step, we're going to go out to the computer, and we are going to the Audio MIDI Setup, which is an application that you can just search this Audio MIDI Setup and find it. As you might expect, it's both audio and MIDI. So if nothing shows up, go to the window column and say Show Audio Devices. And here I've created a setup called Berkeley Class, and I'm going to choose that as my audio device for output. So let's just use this device for sound output. So now anything that's routed to this output will go into these channel mixers, will enable that signal to get passed on to your chats. Another thing you might want to do if you have things like contact that are up independently or a DAW of any sort, you might want to go in there and check the outputs here and choose Berkeley Class as the output. And that way, my signal that I've created in contact is going to get passed through to those outputs. By and large, most of these applications that you're running, like iTunes, once you have set your main computer output to Berkeley Class, anything that's playing in these other applications is going to go out that area as well. Okay, so that allows you to just roam around your computer, play things from your browser, play things from iTunes, play things from Sibelius. As long as those outputs are set to either the computer main output or expressly set to the Berkeley class, that audio will go where it needs to go. Once you have a Zoom session going, or WebEx or Skype, whatever web conferencing tools you're using, just double check to make sure that Berkeley class or whatever you've called your Loopback setup is active, right? And set up as your output. And let's go to Zoom, and we'll go to the microphone, and we'll make sure that instead of choosing your external microphone as the microphone, we're going to set it to Berkeley class. Now let's take a look, and we can see we've got signal coming in, right? And let's play a little something from iTunes. And we can see that the microphone once again is picking up all that as well. So that is the main approach, and setting up your inputs for that. And then of course your outputs I've already been set up in the Loopback. So you know that you're going to be monitoring however you want to be monitoring. I'm just using my external headphones to keep that sound isolated. So it's a pretty easy setup once it's done. All you have to do is choose that setup that you have. And that's it. Good luck.